I'd say we're probably more tactical than most, the level we're at.
I need to reveal what I put on this envelope.
The plan is that they're going to be there for us to use should we need them.
Have the tags got plans to build a stadium?
I've got more superstitions than you would imagine.
Alright guys, how you doing? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to have the second part of my conversation with devs off the back of lockdown, but mostly this one's focusing on your questions. You've sent us some great questions about the season, about the players, about all that good stuff. We're going to answer them, and I'm going to reveal whether I got my FA Cup prediction right or not by opening that envelope. But before all that, we have a special announcement, people. It's the most wonderful time of year. No, it's not Christmas. No, it's not transfer deadline day. It is the release of Football Manager 2021. FM21 is nearly upon us. The official release date is the 24th of November. As you're watching this, or as I'm recording this, that date hasn't happened yet. But guess what? You can get the beta early. Guess what? 10% discount if you order it before the 24th. You what? Yes, you heard me right. And listen, if you do get the beta early, which I think will be a great investment for you and your future children's lives, if you start a save on the beta, it carries over to the full game. So you're sweet. You've got no problems there. So do yourself a favour, click the link in the description, get yourself that beautiful 10% discount provided by the legends at Football Manager, and start creating your future. Not just your future, your new club's future. The future history. Fulfill your destiny. And of course, it's the game that we know and we love, but better than ever. New and improved every year. It just keeps on building. The heroes of Sports Interactive have smashed it. Let me walk you through some of the new features. Interactions and communication is more human than ever. Loads of options with regards to what you say, who you say it to, players, agents, press, all that good stuff. But notice what I'm doing with my hands. I'm gesticulating. Gestures are a big part of the game. Get them right, and you'll build up that camaraderie with your players. Get them wrong, they're leaving, mate. You've had a shocker. Put your arm around the shoulder. Keep your arms crossed. Hashtag it. That's not an option yet. And when it comes to matches and the actual match day experience, they've improved the feel of the day. It feels like a big match day more than ever. And the engine itself, the actual match day engine, is new and improved. And finally, let's talk about something I love. Analysis, statistics. Yes, please. They're better as well. They've added things like XG, expected goals, is making its debut in FM21. So you can really study who's doing well for you and who needs to go. And that's not it. Me and the other hashtag boys are actually co-managing a special FM21 save live on Twitch to celebrate the release of the new game. We've already started it, so make sure you head over to Twitch to catch the fun live. It's a lot of fun. And a little birdie tells me we might be giving away some free copies of FM21 over there, mate. So get yourself over. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this is my next few weeks of lockdown sorted. Let's be honest, my next few months, okay? This is, quite simply, the best game in the history of Earth. That's just a fact. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And that's why it's such an honour for me, and I mean this genuinely, that Football Manager continue to partner with this club. This is the third season we've worked with them. We love them, we thank them, and I'm not saying this because I've been asked to. This is the best game ever. If you haven't played it before, you've missed out. There's still time. Click the link in the description, get involved. Now, on with the video. Let's talk to devs. We had that chat, didn't we, devs, at the start of the season about who was new in your squad. Yep. And obviously, true non-league fashion, there's been a few changes, couple of changes. Yes. Starting off with the keeper situation, Paige has joined us.
Yeah. So we lost both Jacko and Tim, didn't we, to injury. Tim then come back and got another knock, so concerns about that. Jacko's still not been back, so there's a lot of borrowing of players. We had Ashley Jones come in, Callum from the reserves. Yep. Had to step in, and I had the opportunity to bring Anthony back, and I thought it was important for us to do that.
There's another position we've had quite a few has been centre back. Mm-hmm. Have you got an update for us on some of the injured boys? We haven't seen Farai for a while.
So Farai, obviously now we're into lockdown, I expect to be available post-lockdown. Okay. He was about 2 or 3 weeks away, I think. Had done some non-contact training, was looking to step that up to contact.
Good news.
A bit of a not overly serious, but serious enough injury to his knee, which wasn't good. Ryan Cosson, who we still haven't seen play since that freak injury in pre-season.
Yeah, but I mean, only played a couple friendlies, didn't he? Really, we signed him February.
Yeah.
So he's really played one game.
He signed the week before we went into the first lockdown.
And he might play maybe off the back of this lockdown?
Let's hope so. His injury's been diagnosed. He didn't need surgery. He was close to needing surgery, and he's well into his rehab.
Obviously, Jack Harrison has had a second baby. Congratulations to Jack and Lottie. And obviously that's going to disrupt things a little bit. I'm sure it will for me in a few months as well. But he's also obviously in the middle of a rehab from his very significant
injury. At least
injury.
you're not injured.
Not injured, no. I'm actually picking up a few injuries at the moment. Thanks for asking. I'm available. I'm available.
So Jack, getting back to Jack.
Yes, Jack.
He's just waiting for. He's been seeing because he lives a fair way away. He's been seeing his own physio, and he's just waiting for the clearance to really start playing some games, getting some minutes, and hopefully, when we're back, he'll be in a position to get some time playing for the reserves.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And that'd give us a real good indication of where he's at and how far he's still got to go, because he's been out a long
injury.
Time. So not one that we'd be looking to rush him on. That's for sure. It's got to be when he's ready.
Toby Aroma-Laren picked up an injury about a month or so ago now. He's another one that should be all right off the back of lockdown.
Yeah, I think so. It was a hamstring injury for Toby. He was training before our game the weekend, doing some running and been striking the ball. So yeah, he's getting there.
Last time we did a update of the squad, we talked about Neil Richmond being available still and one of our striker options. Very shortly after we recorded that, he kind of moved away, didn't he?
Yeah. When we brought George in last year, it was always with a view of George taking over from Richo as being, the number one centre forward.
Yeah.
But with Richo, it was about a number of things as well, because he was part of my staff, but his work commitments and with alongside having a young family meant that he couldn't give the time to that. So he decided to, step away and just, whilst he could for the, last however long he's got left, play some vets football.
Nice.
Which was really sad, understandable, but really sad to see him go, because he was the first person, when I took the job, he was the first person I approached and the first person I signed, and he was a huge signing and was pivotal to us in our first season, helping with his experience and his goals, introduce the club, and the players that were new to it into non-league competitive football, obviously winning the league, and was absolutely vital to me, and will always be welcome back with us.
100%. We love Richo. Wouldn't have gone up without his goals. No. And I think, you're right. The first one to join this YouTube project, I mean, after yourself, as a player, though, to come in and sort of give it that stamp of approval really helps bring in the likes of Harry Honesties and the Ricky Evans and whatnot. So, Neil Richmond, thank you for your service. See you soon, buddy. We've got some questions, though, from the community on Instagram, Twitter, whatnot. I'm going to fire them at you.
Yep.
Give me your best answers.
Go for it.
Adam is actually one of our super fans, Adam, who asks, has anyone from the reserves impressed you from what you've seen? Obviously, we've added them this year, the reserve team, and we've already seen quite a few guys actually make an appearance in the first team.
Yeah, the manager's done it right, hasn't he?
Done it very well. Nate Joseph as well, right back, played a bit.
Nate's done brilliant. He's come in, when we've needed him, and actually missed out recently because of a suspension. We picked up two bookings. Mentioned earlier, Callum Griggs came in and when we needed him in goal, replaced
clean
him.
Sheet for the 20 or so minutes he played.
Did really well for us, and that actually from that has had opportunity to go and get some senior football.
Oh, good.
Elsewhere, he actually played for Coggeshall United in a league game when he was when they were desperate for a goalkeeper. We're not the only ones, it appears, that have had goalkeeper crisis this season. But we've had some really good performances. Young Carlos Flood's done brilliantly, and he's out getting some additional senior football elsewhere as well.
Debut hat-trick for Southgate the other day. He came over from Aveley, didn't he?
Yes, came over from Kieran, another young player. There's obviously with an eye for goal. Looks to have really good work rate about him as well. Roberto, who's been playing as well in midfield until he got injured, was looking good. And then we've had the likes of obviously Lewis McCain, who's still really young and suffered an injury which took him out of first team contention a bit, but he's playing in the reserves. We've seen Sean Alexander featuring for the reserves as well. So it's going really well, and the plan is that they're going to be there for us to use should we need them.
This is a good question from Kyle Barnett, and he says, I'm a young coach managing my first team. How do you tell some of the players they're not good enough without knocking their confidence. That's tough. I've been on the receiving end of that a few times when I was a youngster. I know you can't believe that, can you? Because you were like, what level could you not be good enough for? But there is a level, believe it or not.
Yeah, is it? Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So how would you handle that?
Football's about opinions. So actually, you don't need to tell someone that they're not good enough. It's about them being, it might be that other people are ahead of them, and that prevents their playing time. And for that moment, that might mean that in your view, they're not good enough because they're not as good. It might just mean they're not as good as the person playing ahead of them. There's different areas have different levels of competition, and that could be within the same club. I think
You just got to be kind, haven't you? You've got to be.
You've got to be honest.
Yeah.
But you don't need to be brutal. And it also, the big thing is, is it James asking the question?
Kyle.
Sorry. So the big thing for Kyle is, what level is he managing at? What age is he managing at? Is it, does he need to be telling players they're not good enough? Is that the message you really, it might just be about a young player developing at a different rate to another. So I think every situation's got to be taken on its own merit. But there's no need to be nasty.
No.
And also I think what's very, very, you have to be very clear with, and I try, don't ever make it personal. Try and be, ultimately as the manager, you have to make a decision that you think's best for a football team. And that's not going to suit every individual within that football team.
No.
And be clear that that's the case as well. And it's not personal. It's for us, my opinion that ultimately counts at the moment.
If you're dealing with youngsters who ultimately just want to play for fun and you're not going to play them, then you've got to make that clear, maybe to their parents, maybe not to them, but so they can go and get football elsewhere, because that's the most important thing is playing. I spent a couple of years when I first started not playing a lot, and I definitely could have played in a different team and played more, but I was trying to play in the teams that my schoolmates were in or friends I had in the area, and I would have probably... My football development would have come along quicker if I'd gone and played somewhere else.
I think grassroots has come on a long way since then now with the introduction of roll-on, roll-off subs and things like that. That never used to be the case, and there used to be kids that would turn up for football and not get on the pitch. And actually, it could be a really good learning tool for managers in terms of, we spoke earlier about juggling sides and managing it. So it then becomes a test of you to be fair with game time without losing the competitive edge of the group.
Yeah. Why, you might not want to answer this, but why did you switch from a 4-2-3-1 to a 4-3-3 this season? Do you want to tell us, or do you want to keep that?
No, I'm happy to say it. I felt that the previous formation better suited the players we had in the club, and that was, go back to the first season as well. It was kind of an evolving picture, if you like, and I had an idea of how I'd eventually like us to be in terms of that, the shape of our side. Looking back at last year to this, I felt going with a 4-3-3 would make us more of a threat going forward. I think there's been other factors to that in terms of the way we play a 4-3-3, and we worked on that over, when we come back, knowing the pitch at Bowers is truer in the sense of, you're going to get every single week. The weather's not going to change it other than maybe making it slightly quicker if it's raining, but it will still be true and flat, and give us that opportunity to be more consistent with that approach, whereas last year we had to adapt a lot, home and away, to conditions. We've still got to do that this year, and we're still prepared to do that, and we had to do that in the most recent game, I think, because of conditions, but it was something to make us more interesting to watch, I think. Still got lots to do. We're still not the finished article. We still got some way to go with it. We will make mistakes doing it as well, because we're in their 6 senior league. We're a step 19, whatever it is. But yeah, it was about making us more enjoyable, a more enjoyable side to play in for the players, a more enjoyable side to watch for me, for you, for anybody watching, and to, I think, make us more of a threat going forward to score more goals. I felt we didn't score enough goals last year from all areas of the pitch. We were heavily dependent on George, This year, I think it's been different, and I think the goals have been spread out a little bit more across the forward line, and because of the way we've set up.
Yep, agreed. I like this question. So Jan Philip has asked, your team talks are mostly motivational. At least that's what the viewer sees.
Yeah.
How tactical is hashtag?
I would say we're as tactical at the level we're at. I'd say we're probably more tactical than most, the level we're at. Again, that's something I think the higher you go, the more attention you have to give to tactics and your style and your patterns in possession and out possession.
We obviously don't want to show stuff that's going to...
You watch any of the document, it's the motivational stuff you see.
Yeah.
It's because you don't want to give... We give up enough.
We do give up enough. And in those documentaries you're talking about, they are shown 6 months after the event. We're showing our team talk 6 days after the event. Not even 6 days, 60 hours. So, we show what we can. There's a documentary series coming, which does show a little bit more, because a little bit more time's passed, and I think it shows a whole different side to everyone involved in the club, me, Devs, everyone. But I'll also say that, obviously, having seen you coach before with East Thurrock and filmed a lot of those team talks, there's plenty of tactics in there, guys. I actually don't see it either, because I'm not in the team change room when you're there, and I only see the edit that goes out anyway. But I have been in the change room with Devs and Joe and all the guys, and I know the level of tactical, analysis and preparation that is going into it. And trust me, it's all there. You just have to trust us that it's going on and look at the results to see if it's working.
And a lot of it goes on in game as well. Tweaks and that can be really subtle tweaks to what you're doing that wouldn't even get noticed. And sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And sometimes you get plaudits for something you haven't done. And sometimes you get criticised for something you haven't done. It's just...
That's why you've got to really be, not just a player, but certainly a manager. You look at them over a series of games or seasons. You don't look at them over a one-off moment because there's a lot of luck in football, a lot of bad luck. Yeah. K Marsh, 1995. What's your match day routine? How do you spend the mornings leading up to a game? Have you got any superstitions?
That's a great question. I've got more superstitions than you would imagine.
Give me some of them. Can you share them?
No, I'm not sharing.
Certain cereal you have every time, or certain shoes you wear?
No, there's certain routines I've got, and then there's some other,
crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's just normal stuff. Yeah, really, and it's fun. And
you turn the light switch on when you leave the room.
No, I'm not quite like. But it's really funny because some of them change. Some have been with me for as long as I can remember.
If they change, is it because if something went wrong in the game, you're like, well, that's dead now, that's superstition?
No, it's more a change because if something went right and I did this, therefore I'm going to keep doing this, and I know you're the same.
Yeah.
Your coat cost us the other week.
Yeah, that coat's gone now, mate.
I saw that and I thought, yes, it's cost us. But and Ellis is exactly the same. Like Ellis has got, I watch him getting, and I can't. It drives me mad watching him. And then my wife would be, he's just like you. And I would have said I'm okay before games until lockdown has forced kind of the whole working from home and Natalie's working from home as well. And she will tell you I am unbearable and horrific to be around on a match day. And midweeks are worse because the day is longer. She's just got to the point where she just ignores me, doesn't ask me anything because I either don't answer her or I answer a different question because I'm just consumed with what's going to go on. So, I'd imagine, not a great amount of fun to be about. It's you wake up and you think.
But then after the win, it's great. It's a party house.
Well, I know about party house. I'm actually, it's you just kind of slump.
Yeah.
Your Saturday evening is a bit like, thank God for that.
But then if you lose, they're not that different, but your head feels completely different. Yeah, horrific. You're like sitting there and just hate it.
The high you get from winning lasts milliseconds. The stench of defeat sticks with you until you don't get beat the next time out. Yeah. It's real. I think the lows always outweigh the highs, which is why you chase the highs. It's
what we do. Timmy McGregor if you were to pick one player from the current squad to be the future manager, I guess it could be picking the future manager hashtag, could be saying who could be a manager.
Who's going to be a manager?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a good question.
Who's got
Danny
a little bit
Smith
about
has
them?
had,
Danny Smith,
Danny Smith has had, he's been an assistant manager previously as well. So I think, the person who I think you speak to about football and you can see he's thinking on a different level. And there's a couple like that, but one who I think would be Sam Biles.
Yeah, he does a lot of coaching already, doesn't he?
Yeah, but it's coaching and managing are different things as well. And but if you're talking about managing, Sam, I could see that that's something that he would. You can see how he thinks about the game, not just his game, but the game as a whole, and he's quite astute. Yeah.
Here's a funny one because, right, I was watching one of your wife's Insta stories, and it was.
Are you? So is this the question?
I was.
Oh.
And it was a Halloween thing. It was nothing to do with football, but I had the volume turned on, and weirdly I could hear in the background someone in the house was watching a hashtag game because I could hear my voice on commentary in the background.
Right.
So I said that to Alex, and I said, look. It's just like this house, like it never stops. Even they're doing Halloween stuff, someone's watching hashtag in the background. Yeah. And this question is from Yudhiva Brazzi, who says, do you mute the commentary when you watch the games on YouTube?
Yeah. Not so much on YouTube. If I watch back on Twitch, you've got worse, you two.
What, more, in what way?
It's like, because I tell you, and this is the beauty of what we do as well. And I know it aggravates some people because they just talk about, need to be more balanced and more neutral. But you watch a game like fans.
Toby, thinking about a shot maybe. He's hit it! Oh my God! You're kidding me! Boys, come on, hashtag!
Heart on your sleeve kind of stuff. You don't hold back on our players.
No,
it's kind of.
We get some stick for that. To be fair, we get some stick. Like I got some stick recently for. If I saw, say, in this instance, it was at Sude, and I thought he should have shot when he crossed or whatever, something I can't remember. And everyone was like, Spencer's always having a go at Josh. I'm not having a go at him. I'm just saying, like, from a fan perspective, if you like, I would think that might be a better thing to do. It doesn't mean I'm right, first and foremost. And it also doesn't mean that I think that I can do it better. I definitely can't. And it also doesn't mean that Josh did do the wrong thing necessarily. I think Josh particularly is one that we say a lot about, but just because of the nature of the way he plays. He gets himself in these unbelievable positions so much that because they don't always result in goals, you then say, okay, what could have been done differently?
And you've said a couple of times before, we'll always speak after the game, won't we? And often it's like the two of us and Seb, and one of you will talk about how well someone's done, and you get a look from me as I kind of shoot you down. And you've got to the point where you let Seb kind of like line it up, and you're sitting back waiting for me to say, no, he was rubbish, or somebody else was better. So it is about opinion, because you're looking at things differently.
Yeah.
So if I'm watching the full game, yes, like, particularly now that the Twitch stuff, all those sirens going off when
LP. Don't blame me.
I don't even bring him into this conversation, LP. But YouTube, when it goes on YouTube and I know it's been edited, I'll listen.
Last question of the video, Patrick Size, great question. Have the Tags got plans to build a stadium? That's a very specific question. If you're asking like, have we got plans on the table now? The answer is no. Okay. Do we want to have our own home one day? 100% yes. What form might that take? We don't know yet. I mean, as we're recording this tonight, AFC Wimbledon are making their long return to, it's not quite the same ground, but it's basically the same location as their old ground, Plough Lane in Wimbledon. AFC Wimbledon was formed, I think it was 19 years ago, was it? It's about 19 years ago when Wimbledon became MK Dons, and they started off with like different ground shares. They moved around. They've played all over the place, and they've now this long it's taken them to find a ground, and they spent well over 10 million on it. It's 5,500 seats or so, 9,500 seats, but has the ability to go up to 20,000 seats one day. It's a proper League One stadium. Obviously, we're nowhere near that level. But interestingly, AFC Wimbledon started at the level we're at now. That's where they began. It's the 9th tier of English football. Not in our league, but that's the level they came in at. They didn't come in at the level we came in at. They came in at that level. And they obviously had a
it was before it was restructured, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was restructured,
So,
wasn't
it was
it? Yeah.
Isthmian League, yeah.
It was the 9th tier at the time, but they had a crazy rise, obviously, as you'd expect them to, with the support they had from day one. And they got up very, very quickly. I think it took them 10 years or 9 years to get to league football.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. What we don't want to do is become this nomadic club where we move grounds all the time. We've got a new group. We have done that the first 2 seasons for mostly things that are out of our hands. But Bowers is a really good facility with the free 4G, whatever, artificial pitch. And, we're putting down some roots in the community now. Of course, we're going to keep our eye on opportunities if we can find a permanent home. But whether that is with a current club that already has a ground and we work alongside them, or whether we end up, there's a scale, isn't there? There's, on one end of the scale, there's can we make our home with this team and build it there? And the other end of the scale is literally finding some land and building something from scratch. There's a whole load of different costs involved, and there's a whole load of different timescales involved. But the short answer is...
And you don't know where the opportunity is going to come from.
We don't know where the opportunity
is. It's not just there, is it?
No, all I can say is the answer is yes. At some point, we want to have our own ground, or at least a ground that allows us to do whatever we want to do with it, which might be with another team. And we want it to be in the sort of Essex/London area that we're based in. This is where we are. So, this is the leagues we're in now, or the leagues we want to stay in terms of the trajectory and what we get promoted into. We're not going to move... if the stadium becomes available in Milton Keynes, we're not going there. This is where we are. And now it's just about doing that. But we're still so young, aren't we, in the history? It might take a while. Hope that's answered your question. We have one more thing to do before we finish. I need to reveal what I put on this envelope. When I wrote what's inside here, we'd never played a game in the FA Cup, devs. We knew we had to play a extra preliminary round, then another preliminary round, then a first round qualifying, second round qualifying. This is where we got knocked out. So we played 4 games in the FA Cup. We lost on penalties in the 4th one. The question is, when we spoke about it, I think you said you thought getting to the first qualifying round would be a good achievement, or did you say second? On just generic, before we know who we'd be playing.
I said it's a real achievement to get to the second, I think, because I think nobody from our league went beyond the second, did they?
No. In fact, there's only there was 2 teams in that round that had never played in the FA Cup before. It was us and Newark, and neither of us went through that round.
Both got,
but we also, when you said that, and when I wrote this, we didn't know who we'd be playing. We knew we'd be playing Parkview and then Felixstowe Walton. But then, of course, Felixstowe Walton being the league above, we then played Surham Town Rangers, also league above. Then we played a team 3 leagues above and took them all to penalties. So we definitely could have had an easier draw in that last round. We could have had a team in our level.
I think as well, but for them all, you look at the starts of the season that Surham and Felixstowe have had. They've had good starts.
Yeah, they're not at the bottom.
And you don't actually know so early. You don't know whether how winnable the draws are.
No.
We did. I'm guessing you probably were expecting to open that in May sometime.
I think I said at the time I'll reveal it when we're out in May. But yeah, everyone concerned with hashtag, whether it's me, devs, players, fans, should all agree we had a good FA Cup run. There's absolutely no reason to feel anywhere otherwise. It can feel hard done by that we lost on penalties, but equally we'd been beneficiary of penalties twice before that. So, it was a great cup run considering the teams we played, and we got a great bit of positivity around the club. We had people coming to the games. We had great support online. Everyone's happy with it. The question is, did we underperform or overperform based on my prediction? Shall we find out? Devs is on the edge of his seat. Look at him.
I'm on the edge of his... So this is going to tell me whether we've underperformed or overperformed, is it?
Whether you've got a job or not. Let's have a look. What did I write down? Can you see it?
Can I see it? No. I reckon you got it. Okay, you went conservative, did you?
I wrote down first qualifying round. I wrote that down. I'll tell you why I wrote it down. Because I knew to get to the first qualifying round, we'd have to win 2 games. I knew we'd have to beat a team in the league above, Felixstowe Walton. For me, as a first FA Cup performance, for us to win the first game and then beat a team in the league above, which we'd never done in a competitive game before that. We'd only played a handful of competitive games against teams in the league above in a few cups, but we'd never done it before. I thought, you know what, that sets a good precedent. If we do that, it means that we've We've given ourselves a benchmark to try and beat another year, and we've beaten a team higher ranked than us. The fact that we then did it a second time in the first qualifying round against Surbiton Rangers made me very happy and very proud. So we definitely surpassed my expectations.
Interesting.
But what will be on it next year?
Because I thought you would have put... I was expecting you to have put the second qualifying round. Thought that one through and been quite sensible.
I thought that one through, and it means we've also surpassed my expectations. It means it's a positive.
Right.
There you go. That's the end of this video, guys. Hope we've answered your questions. Thank you once again to Devs for joining us. We'll do another one of these. Hopefully when we're playing football again in a few months. Yep. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more. We've got plenty more videos coming. Make sure you support the streams on Twitch and LP and all the things he's doing. And subscribe if you haven't already and all that good stuff. This is the Hashtag channel. Just because we're not playing football for a little bit doesn't mean we're slowing down. We keep moving. And of course, don't forget to hashtag it. See you soon.